Because those parties unequivocally support the genocide in Gaza. End of.
Hi guys, it's Lakiem from Crawley Talks TV, and we are on our election series part 3, and we're joined here now by Linda Bamieh from the Workers' Party, led by George Galloway. And guys, I'd recommend you watching the whole thing, because Linda is a very, very interesting character. I've got to know her recently over the last 6 months to a year. She came onto my radar, and her story is absolutely fascinating. So Linda, you've had an extremely fascinating life.
A long one.
A long one.
Yes.
I'd say it's the rock and roll life of a good life, where a lot of international work has been done, a lot of charity stuff, a lot of activism, and it stretches back over 50 years.
Yeah, I would say, I was about 19 when I really kick-started it. 19,
and this has been carried out all over the globe.
Yes.
And hearing your story was extremely fascinating.
Thank you.
And reading it was another fascinating experience. So Linda, I am grateful to be in your presence today.
Oh, that's an honour. Yeah, that's an honour.
And Linda, tell us about yourself. Tell the viewers, who is Linda Bamieh, what you stand for, what you've been through. Just let it all out.
Let it all out. Right. Wow, are you sitting comfortably? Because then I'll begin.
Let me just get in.
Yeah, no, it's, of course, when you've lived as long as I have, it's a long life. But, and I first started getting interested in politics, but it wasn't really politics, it was because I had this passion for humanitarian situations. And when I was 19, I went to Beirut, and I happened to be buying something from a kiosk there. I was with a couple, one was Palestinian, one was Lebanese, and I was buying something from the kiosk, and the man said to me, "So where are you from?" And in very good English, actually. And I was practicing my Arabic, and I said, "Oh, I'm from England," so proudly. And he went, "You're the reason I'm in this country today." And I went, "Wow, how come that happened? What's all this about?" We're not taught. I had no idea. And that's how I started to learn and go into these things and really discover about the Arab world and about Palestine. And it was such a it's such a tragic story, and unfortunately that's Britain getting involved in things that we really shouldn't. And then when we say it's got nothing to do with us, you know, it's so far away, we are the cause, we're the root problem, and we have to solve our root problems. We can't just throw them away.
Yeah. Now Linda, tell us about the work you, your team, organisation, family have carried out over the years.
Well, of course, I told you that I was 19 when I was in Beirut, and I was a single person then. I just liked adventure and I loved travel, and we all live at Crawley. I mean, I've been in Crawley since 1970.
Yep.
I know I wasn't born in 1970, so no, I didn't come here. I wasn't born here. Somebody asked me the other day, and I said, "Thank you very much. No, I wasn't born here." But I was born in Cambridgeshire, actually. But I came here at about 15. So from there, like everybody else, it was a growing town, and my parents and my brother, we were part of this growing town, and it was fabulous. I mean, everybody was a community, everybody was getting on, we all had chances in business. It was a hub for economic growth. And then, like a lot of people, I went into the airlines. I went for a company, which again, it makes me feel very old, because it was British Caledonian, which is not in existence anymore, but it was a great company, and anybody that worked for it will remember it. In fact, when I've been going out and around in town, I have started meeting people say, "We remember you in British Caledonian."
It was that lovely trolley dolly.
No, please do not say trolley dolly. We have languages, we have education. No, it was a wonderful time, which gave me an opportunity to travel the world.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then on one of my trips I was in the West Africa, which is Senegal, Gambia, Sierra Leone. And I was looking for my friends that I had met in Beirut, and I was at a group party and I met my husband.
Yep.
And he was the acting ambassador for the Palestinians, Fatah. I didn't know that at the time. And he and I struck up a very good friendship, and 3 years later he became my husband.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it was great.
Yeah.
And I was married for 40 years.
Wow.
And it was really a lovely marriage.
Yeah.
He was born in Jerusalem.
Yep.
He was born in 1936,
Yep.
but he had to leave Jerusalem in 1948.
Right.
But of course he was my mentor and my friend, and he just taught me everything, and he was really wonderful. Yeah, I really had a good marriage. He passed away 3 years ago with COVID. So we have 4 children,
Yep.
1 grandson.
Yep.
They're all over the world themselves. They're in Cairo, in Sinai, which is about 4 hours from Gaza.
Yep.
I think your father has been in that area, yeah. And 1 in Lisbon.
Yep.
And my youngest daughter, Shireen Palestinian, is with me because she's special needs.
Right.
So I care for her, and I still care for her, and she's 35. So yes, that's sort of in a nutshell what my family history is. I mean, there's too much to tell you, and there's only so much I can explain.
Yeah. And Linda, just tell us about some of the projects, appeals, charity organisations, organisations that you've been a part of and that you've.
When we were in Sierra Leone, because I went out to live in Sierra Leone for a while, I did a lot with the schools and the children. And what we did, which is something really interesting, we integrated the children between each other, because unity is huge. And even in those days, there's segregation between different sects of the community. So what we did was we engaged the children into music, which we do here. We have inter-music school festivals and things. So we started that. I had an art gallery, and I encouraged art and changed different styles of things. And then that was, again, a community activity. And we did rather well. But of course, like Beirut, when I started in Beirut, we had the civil war.
Yep.
Then, of course, in Sierra Leone, we had the civil war.
Yep.
And then of course, I spent a lot of time in England, and then the children were in school here.
Yep.
They were in Pound Hill and Hazelwick, and I'm sure a lot of people will remember them. What else? Yes, Shireen, she was in the special needs school over in Langley Green.
Yep.
And I had to fight for her. I did a lot of work with special needs because I needed a one-to-one teacher for her.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. And that's one of the things that is very important to me, special needs. And I now know that they have a term which is SEND.
Yes.
But it wasn't like that in that day. But I know what it's like to fight and to care for a child and to get them into the system. And it's hard, especially if you're not vocal or you don't know how. And I was very lucky because I was vocal. And she wasn't my first child, and I think this is very important. She was my 4th child. So it's hard for parents that have the first child that's special needs, I think, because you really feel that you're alone. And this is very important. And then to kick on with the system, because the system does not work for you. It's not holistic. And you go in and you say if you have a special needs child, you go in and you say, I have a problem here, and they will say, she's special needs. It's a tough thing. And speaking to people that I've spoken to in Crawley, I'm thinking of one young lady, she even says there's racial problems with her schooling. And we didn't have that 30 years ago, let's say. There wasn't the racial problems, and this is something I'd like to explore more. I'd like to explore today and listen to the people that have problems. Because what I did was, instead of me going out to find a doctor for Ayurvedic medicine or even to, oh yes, we went to Romania. My parents were in business and they had a small hotel up on the Balkan Road. So we invited the doctors to us and invited all the parents to come and see it. And I would like to continue that trend of inviting people that don't have the facility to travel, because there's so much out there that we can do to help our children. But we also have to work with the system and to change the system, because the doctors and the specialists are really good here. But they're tied because they can't speak outside their subject. You know, they all work independently, and this doesn't help us if we have a special needs or any vulnerable person in the community. It doesn't help us. We need to work holistically. We have to have everybody there from each section, because it's not just because you have somebody with a special needs that's always the problem. So that's what I would like to do, apart from all the other things that I would like to do, and which I have done. It's always been about, a big part of my life has been about racism. Of course, I was married to a Palestinian, and I have Palestinian children. And of course, after 9/11, it was hard for them. And you know, and that's unfair. It's not fair. It's injustice. So that's another aspect of life. Recently, I went to Crawley and walked around, and I was dismayed at the amount of people that told me how segregated this is. And Crawley is actually a wonderful, wonderful town. We just have to find the good, like our diverse community, and we have to build on that. And that's what we've already started to do. I started to do it with the team that are helping me. We've already started. They want to do football matches and integrate the young people, because again, the young people need to be in politics. We can't make the mistakes that we've made and not encourage our young people to take over. I mean, we owe them a huge debt, because we're at this point where everybody is fed up with politics. I don't even like to call myself a politician, because everyone goes, I don't believe the politicians. You all say the same thing. You're all doing the same thing. You always lie to us just before an election. And I'm trying to say, but I'm not a politician. But of course, in essence, I am. But I'd prefer to be called somebody that's working for the people and the community and really taking that very seriously. I've always done it, and I will do it beyond July the 4th. And we've already started, and I will work again in Crawley, as I have done in the past.
So Linda, I mean, your background alone and your achievements and everything that you've done in this world are enough for someone like me to give you the vote. Just purely based on your track record and everything you've done and experienced.
I want you to give George Galloway the vote.
George Galloway the vote.
I want you to look at his manifest. I want you to study what he's saying, because I have known George Galloway for a very long time because of his support for no to, Iraq. There are no weapons, and that's why he got the sack from the Labour Party, which is what the Workers' Party in essence is. It's a just Labour Party, but better, because we've got George Galloway. Also, he's very friendly with Corbyn, and you know what happened to Corbyn. I mean, all the independents, they have made a pact. There's so many good independents, which again shows us that everybody is fed up with what's happening. What they call it, I think they call it the uni party. They're absolutely right to be fed up, because it's just lies after lies after lies, lobbies after lobbies after lobbies. You see, the difference between, perhaps, I'm not going to go into this type of politics where I say this man is this or this man is this. This doesn't help us. And I'm sure in essence they're lovely people. But if they were that lovely when they are in horrible, racist, genocidal parties, if they could step away from that and be independent, I would respect them more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just...
Yeah, and Linda, my favourite politicians of all time are Tony Benn, George Galloway, and Jeremy Corbyn.
And Linda Bamieh.
And Linda Bamieh. I've made that clear in podcasts that they were my three favourites. So Linda, you've had an excellent track record. You've got connections worldwide in international circles. You've been a part of organisations, charities, movements that have done extremely positive and good things all over the world. Linda, what are your plans if you get elected in Crawley?
I'm just going to carry on being Linda Bamieh with the backing of somebody like George Galloway, because I believe that we need George Galloway to support us in Crawley. We need to have a completely transparent council. We need to know who's doing what, where the money's going, why this is happening. I mean, yesterday I went to the Chigoan, is it yes. Their story is horrendous, and I think that I want to expose their story because this is another injustice, and I want to fight for injustice because I think it will help everybody in Crawley. Of course, Crawley issues are huge, but we can't dismiss justice. We can't, because that would make us sort of soulless people. So, I mean, yesterday I went there, and I'm hoping that these people do well, and I'd love you to do a podcast on their life. It's a fascinating story, and people should judge them kindly. I mean, opposite, they're in front of the town hall. I know they're going to have to leave that place, but people are going with tea and coffee and food. They have nowhere else to go, and they're British. We have a problem with housing. Housing has to be dealt with, and I have some good ideas on that. Again, I don't know how long we're going to talk for because I can go on forever. But the people in Crawley, they are aware. You know, you're always going to get few. I think they're mainly on Crawley Talk. I've seen some of them, and there's great fun there. And I think they've got don't they go to work? These people, I know. But the people in the buildings, the apartments opposite the police station, are going down to these people and saying, "Come to my apartment. There's the shower." There's kindness and humanity here. We just have to get it out of everybody. We have to help each other. We have to unite. We're too diverse. It's wonderful walking through the town and hearing all sorts of languages. Yes, that doesn't mean that, you know, we don't want too many and we want them all legal, but there are ways around that. And the policy that I urge people to look at is George Galloway's manifest online. They can look at it. I can go and recite it or read it to you, but if you look at George Galloway's manifest, it has not only the problems, but he has this solution. And that's interesting. Just like we need a hospital. Now we can't be born here. You know, and how crazy is that? All we have to do is stop supplying arms to Israel. This is the connection when people say, what has Gaza got to do with this? And I understand that there's problems beyond that. But you have to understand that the money we are spending is £12,000 a minute on nuclear weapons.
Wow.
Exactly. So look, but all this is on his manifesto.
Right, so guys, as a UK taxpayer,
I've just touched the tip of the iceberg.
£12,000 a minute in the Gaza war.
No, £12,000 a minute on nuclear weapons.
So £12,000 a minute we spend on nuclear weapons. What else is there? Oh,
we have arms and we make money. But the problem for us is, it's the big boys that line their pockets that make money. You know that. Who was I talking to today? Was it one of you, about us being the 51st state? We have to be careful where we're going. And I don't expect a lot of people will like me saying this, but we have to be very careful. We have, of course, lobbies. I'm not funded. I funded all my wonderful leaflets. We did them all as much as we could. I don't have flashy you know, campaigns and everything. I think I have an ice cream van with my poster on it somewhere in Crawley, who very kindly put it on. And I didn't even buy an ice cream from him. I said, after July the 4th, I don't want to look like I'm bribing you, you know, but he was so sweet. But there's so many people that are supporting us just by the fact that they've just not seen or heard anybody before.
Yeah.
But I'm not funded, so that means that I don't have to answer to anybody.
Yeah.
Other career politicians, however lovely they are, and I'm sure you're all lovely, they cannot do what's in their heart because they're career politicians and they have to answer to the party
Whip.
So you look at what each politician has to say, I'll work from within, or I'll do this, or I'll do that. They can't. So if you look at the manifest of George Galloway, and if that has more points to suit you, vote wisely. The point is about this election is we have 6 candidates, is it? Or 8 candidates? 6 candidates. You have a choice. And the choice is the most important thing you have. And you should vote, because if you don't vote, you don't have a right to complain.
Yeah.
And young people should vote. And young people must get involved. And that's another thing that I want to do. Am I pointing my finger at you? You must vote. I'm sorry. I get a bit passionate. We must vote. Young people, I want to bring in young people into politics.
Yeah.
I'm a bridge. I'm a bridge to carry George Galloway's message, and then we find this energetic young people that will be devoted to this type of work. Of course, you can have a park bench with my name on it somewhere in the town, but no, it's really important. It's really important.
So, Linda, in 5 or 6 points, what are the major changes you will try and do for Crawley if elected as MP?
Wow, we'll do this game, because there's the game for me. It's not a game, but we will do the theory that what I'm going to do, irrespective of the outcome, because I'm already a winner. You know that. The people that I've met and everything that I've started to do and we are doing, and we'll bring the Workers' Party here, and we can all join and be a part of the Workers' Party here. I'm already a winner on that. But if I would certainly look at, we know the hospital, all the points that everybody brings is the same thing,
yeah.
But it's how we fix the problems that's the issue.
Yeah.
The Crawley Hospital,
yeah.
We get funds, we stop selling arms, we do whatever George Galloway has on his manifesto. Yeah. He's said it.
Yeah.
There's 60 billion on this,
yeah.
There's so-and-so on this, there's X amount on that. We have to tap in, and we have to know where the money is going in the council. So I will be their worst nightmare. And I mean that.
Yeah.
At least I'd be lovely going in, hello everybody, but I will be their worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Then there's, the hospital, we know all the thing, reduce the waiting time,
yeah.
for the appointments. I mean, it's really hard. I know it's hard, and I'm sort of on the priority list, yeah. Because of my daughter. So I can't imagine what it's like, you know, otherwise, because I couldn't get an appointment for days, to the point that you feel, I can't be bothered. But they're pushing us towards private education, the private doctors, you know, private healthcare. We don't want that. We want to bring back all our services. We want to bring back free dentistry. And people can say, how are you going to do that? Wait, look at the manifesto. He tells you exactly how it's going to be done, which is one of the reasons I joined him. Education, free university education. You shouldn't come out of university and have debt.
Yeah.
And we in Crawley have a huge problem with 16 to 18-year-olds. We are the biggest group, that's the biggest group that are not in education in Sussex.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. So that means who's on the streets, who's smoking the weed, who's not living the best life they could. If they had a goal, if they felt it was worthwhile, apart from the fact that I'm going to go around and drag them into politics, we have to make this viable. Crawley College, we have to do it up.
Yeah.
I went into Crawley College. I spent my time in Crawley College, and I look and I'm thinking, it hasn't changed much.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed much. The people, again, great teachers, great doctors, great nurses, they're frustrated. And when I stand at Crawley College and I look at that, and I remember the lift, I don't know whether probably some of the people who are, mind you, those people are not on Facebook, are they? Too old. No, but you can remember the lift. But when you look across to the left and you see this shiny new town hall, you think, what's that about?
Yeah.
What's that about? And then you read in the paper that there was some controversy with that. There's something wrong. We need transparency.
Yeah.
We need to be part of it. If I was, again, in power, I would have everybody involved in decisions.
Yeah.
We need, I went to Langley Green and I met a gentleman who had a laundrette.
Yeah.
Laundrettes are vital. He says, I have to close down. George Galloway actually spoke about laundrettes. I mean, it's a community service. He has said his rents are going up, his this, but laundrettes save us money.
Yeah.
It's green, it's the environmentally friendly. Plus the fact, all the homeless, he takes in there and he washes all their clothes. There's humanity, all the veterans. This is the point of, beyond just a laundrette to make money, there is humanity, and it's in Crawley. I know it is. We've just got to bring it out. It is already out. I've just got to, that would be my task and my pleasure and my joy and my life to do that.
Yeah.
And the fish and chip shop, ban the fish and chip shops. They're too delicious.
So Linda, we've touched up on the healthcare, Crawley, lesser waiting times, new A&E system, or get back the old A&E system, Crawley College.
Yeah, Crawley College. I mean, what an icon. Yeah, it's an iconic building.
And
It's just fun.
Linda, what are your views on the current refugee crisis, and how will you go about healing the damage that's been done by the Tories so far?
Just the Tories?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
We won't go there.
Yeah.
We'll keep it
Labour
polite.
as well. Yeah, whoever's to blame.
Well, we have creeping people that are creating a bigger problem for immigration. We need immigration. We need legal immigration. And this recent problem that we had in K2, we're taking a huge amount. They don't want to be here. They don't mind being anywhere in Crawley. So, or anywhere in England. So then they're looking to work, to live, and we owe them that.
Yeah.
As a lot of people, I know there was this big controversy about the Bangladeshi people. Shame on us for ever speaking in that way.
Yeah.
We can't do that. But there is illegal immigration as well. Now, one thing we could do, again, I'm going to be hated across the land, is stop bombing and having wars with countries so that they have to leave in the first place and come here. Then they will have to have our healthcare, our benefits, our this, our that. Let's just stop. Let's stop war.
Yeah, I'm of the agreement on that. If you was to look at the money that we've spent on wars and meddling in other people's affairs, and it's not just the money and the meddling, it's the loss of British life in these wars in Afghanistan and Iraq that have cost us dearly. They've cost us financially, we've lost British blood, and we've had to take these people in, and these people were quite happy in places like Iraq and Syria.
They didn't want to leave.
Libya, they had very, very good lives.
They liked their leader. How are we to tell them?
Exactly. And now, Linda, I'm totally with you on that. Stop the foreign wars.
Stop the foreign wars. We didn't even broach Gaza because that's a genocide. We're sitting watching that. Immigration has a way to be solved. Instead of us, we have ships, even in the Red Sea, doing what?
Yeah.
In other wars.
Yeah.
Okay, and George Galloway said, let's put them to protect our shores from the immigrants coming in. We have an arrangement with France, we have to fulfill it.
Yeah.
The immigration is a big issue and it's very sensitive, and I think it has to be done by experts. I can't say about it.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, our housing is a problem here, and there's lots of different things with housing actually. we have no more land to build on, unless if you're like Labour, they want to build on every green space imaginable. We can't do that to Crawley.
Yeah.
We can't do that to Crawley. What we have to look at is, I don't know, I mean, again, this is my idea, it's not, I have to speak to the party about this. Party, that sounds, I will be calling people comrades in a minute. And you see, people in Kent, for example, the councils in Kent have come down here and bought a lot of houses to put the people that they have an overflow of in Crawley. And I learnt about this from one of the real estate people. There were 360,000 they were buying the houses. What's wrong with us buying houses and getting back more into social welfare, social housing? Or if people are going to lose their house, let the council buy it so that they don't become homeless and don't become a burden to us. Yeah. We have to start thinking sensibly. Maybe if somebody's going to come up and say, you can't do that, you can't do that, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? If other counties are doing it, where's the money in Crawley? I can't believe that we have no money in Crawley. If we spend £700,000 on a water fountain for 3 months of the year,
yeah.
What's going on? Yeah. Bring back the bandstand. That was beautiful. Beautiful.
It was history,
put the water fountain, I know the children of it, I know it, and I really do, but and then it breaks down, please. That is not sensible.
Yeah.
Look at this high street where your taxi area is.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. It still is beautiful, has huge potential to be beautiful. They have lovely places down there, lovely places to eat. But they've divided it now into a one-way system.
Yeah. Okay.
But because they're supposed to have had the market.
The market was lovely as well.
Lovely. Yeah. We should have these farmers market, this market. We need to create traffic for all the businesses. I've been in business in Crawley. Yeah. We need to create traffic. It's location, and traffic. Nobody minds paying more tax if they're going to get the revenue back. Yeah. But we just we can't do it and cut it off. We need this. Look at the summer. It would be chock-a-block busy. Whenever I'm in Crawley canvassing, there's people from out of town. Yeah. It's a good job I like talking, because otherwise I would be really exhausted. Where are you from? Oh no, you can't have my leaflet, But it's fun. It's fun. Yeah. And there's so much potential for Crawley. We're in such a good location. We're near the airport. We are having a lot of people come in and buy houses, which has risen all the costs up. We know that. Yeah. It's also risen all the costs of our, K2. We have to adjust that because it doesn't marry with our salaries here. Yeah. There's so much I can tell you. I didn't realise I knew so much.
And Linda, what about housing? The housing.
We have to really. That needs some expert to come in here, because we have to go back to the old system and get houses for people. But we can't just build on every square foot of land. We have to really have somebody from economics, a background. Yeah. And that would be one of the first priorities. I'm not going to pretend that I know all the answers, although I do. No, I don't. But we have to get somebody, and we have to relook at this, because we have a serious problem with housing.
Yeah, and
but we need social housing. We need to go back to where people felt comfortable.
And Linda, what would you do if elected about the current suicide rate and mental health crisis that we're in?
Huge. But that's going back to the root cause again. All these issues I've explained, it's the root cause. All problems have a root cause. Palestine, root cause. Yep. Suicide, root cause. Yep. Why are they doing that? And this is not available. If we had Crawley Hospital, we would have a better chance. But there's also outreach places. And there's a lot of people in the community that, if George Galloway has his way, people would retire at 60, which is feasible. Yeah. He's got a plan for it. So that means we would have volunteer labour as well. Yeah. But we have a lot of capable people that we can't use because of the way the system is. We have to solve this. Yeah. And it's reaching out again.
And Linda, what would you do about the current rising crime levels, the lack of policing?
You mean with the
across all
politicians?
parts of the towns. Yeah.
What? I'm serious. Well,
What's the party's line?
I think it's probably everybody has to look at their own town. But for me, again, with the crime rate, root cause, and then I would speak to everybody. I would speak to the fire. I bring them fire brigade, police, doctors. It has to be it has to be holistic again. Yep. We have to. The community leaders like you're very valuable in this section, your father, the boys that were working with you, we have to work together and find out what's the problem. Why is there suicide? Why is there this? If we have the education better, we would not have the crime. The people, they can't afford to go to the bowling alley. We have to create welfare for them. We have to create a community for them. For everybody. It's not them, it's us. And there are many people that will step in and say, when I've been walking, I can teach this, or I can do this, or there's art, or there's this. No, but you can't just hang around sitting on the streets because there's nowhere to go. Yeah. You're lucky that you come from an Asian community. Am I the first person to ever tell you that?
You are. Yeah. And Linda, Palestine is a big part of your manifesto agenda and on the top of the party's list, which is lovely, by the way, because we'd like that to be at the forefront of something, not just from a humanity point of view, but also from a selfish point of view. The amount of money England is spending on that unjust project, and the amount of money we lose as taxpayers. Talk to me about Palestine.
Palestine. As we say in Arabic, Bukra bil Quds, tomorrow in Jerusalem. I think that people should be encouraged to look at the history of Palestine. When my mother-in-law and father-in-law were younger, of course, in Palestine, and in 1948, they opened their homes to the Jewish people on the boats that were running away from Germany, from Europe, from their Holocaust, from their oppression. Remember, it wasn't the Arabs that attacked them, it was the Europeans, it was us, the Europeans. But it was in a couple of years, they had been stabbed in the back and they had taken everything. It's awful, and it's been 75 years. And it's got worse and worse and worse. I mean, now we have the most amazing change for the Palestinians. And I say amazing in a very respectful way, because they are going through hell. But their sacrifice has opened up the eyes of the whole world. We are now seeing what's happening in Gaza, and now we're exposed to what's happening in our politics, in American politics. Politics all over the world are being corrupted by a Zionist movement.
So Linda, why should people vote for you over the Conservatives, Labour and the Reform Party?
Because those parties unequivocally support the genocide in Gaza. End of. I don't want somebody leading my country responsible for my children, my healthcare, my education, who accepts what's happening in Gaza. The killing of children, the killing of mothers, the killing of innocent people, the bombing of hospitals, the bombing of buildings, the bombing of mosques. And we watch the Israeli soldiers do it with glee, with fun, with enjoyment. It's inhuman. We have lost our humanity. If we vote for those parties, we are giving them permission to carry on. We can't do it. We just can't do it. 70%, 80% actually, the polls say, of British people do not want this war in Gaza. Yeah. But we still do it. I mean, I can go on and on and on, but people know. People know, and in England, and in Crawley, they know. No, we have to stop and to hold our governments accountable. And the only way we can do that is not vote for them.
So yeah, guys, what an interview. Fantastic insight as to who Linda Bamieh is and what she stands for and what she represents. The Socialist Workers' Party like I've said before, is led by one of my three favourite politicians, which is George Galloway. Linda's very passionate, caring. She's got an excellent track record in activism and charity work and big projects and organisations, especially in third world countries. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I certainly did, and I hope this kind of influences you as to who you vote for out of the four parties that we've had on the show.